hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stuart, and welcome to episode 2 of the newly named Football Unplugged podcast. And hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stuart, and welcome to episode 2 of the newly named Football Unplugged podcast. Obviously, I'm Stuart, and yes, obviously, this is the podcast of the Substack group with the same name. Links below. Definitely check them out. Really awesome people. And if you want to make sure you don't miss this weekly blog where we just talk about all things football, please make sure you subscribe and follow the podcast in all the lovely places where you find podcasts. But obviously, in this episode, we're on a Friday afternoon, and Football League returns literally tonight with Wolves and Blackburn, battling out in the first big fixture of the weekend. So yes, obviously in this episode we're going to go through each league briefly, and obviously I think I'm going to focus more on at least one team, maybe general chat. Obviously, because I want this to be short and sweet and get information you guys would know, so you can go in kind of tonight and probably over the weekend a bit more knowledgeable, and for myself as well. So but yeah, let's dive straight in to talking about the championship. So yes, the championship. Yes, obviously it's all new this year. Obviously, as we found out as it last season, that they agreed to extend the playoffs with an extra 2 places. Obviously, instead of the top 6 from third to 6th. Now it is the 3rd to 8th, and it's all changed and all stuff. And obviously, I think they're going to have a similar kind of format to how they do it in the National League, with obviously the top 2 facing off. Have to play one less game. It messes it up a little bit, but I guess it makes it exciting. But we'll find out how it works out. So obviously it makes it interesting who's going to get. It's going to get hard to get used to the top 6. Is not the one. It's the 6th place is the last spot. Now it's the 8th. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this one. And obviously there's a lot of big contenders in the championship, a lot of big teams. Obviously the 3 probably was it relegated sides, and obviously West Ham, Wolves and Burnley probably are going to be the favourites to go straight back up. Obviously it wasn't really too much the same last season, obviously, except for we all talk about the Southampton thing that we don't talk about. But obviously if you go into this season, I think there's only one clear favourite into the championship going starting the season, and that is West Ham. Obviously, a club of size of West Ham got relegated last season. Was devastating for them. Obviously, it's kind of been a thing that's kind of been teetering around for maybe 1 2 seasons. So and West Ham are kind of an interesting club. They have great highs, but definitely recently they've had some really bad lows. But to be fair, obviously they've Nuno kind of stayed at the post. Obviously, I was quite shocked. But you think that he made his name in the championship with Wolves a couple of years ago. So I think he knows the league well. So, and obviously with basically gets sticking with the bulk of the team. Obviously the big one with obviously stuff like Jarrod Bowen staying at West Ham. You would see that his kind of quality should be enough to kind of really rip this championship apart with his quality. And I've seen and I also saw on pre-season friendly, some of the balls he's going to be able to cross in is really going to open up a lot of championship defenses. Yes, obviously don't be surprised if he's top scorer. I mean, probably the whole league. But yeah, I think it's fair to say they're going to be a favourites. Yes, obviously you've got Burnley. I think again, new management, new style. Obviously you've got Wolves again, new management, new style. So a lot of change in them 2 clubs. But I think West Ham have got that stability to really make this only a 1 season stay in the football 2nd tier. So, but yeah, definitely look out for West Ham. I will be shocked if they don't at least get the top 2 or at least win the championship title. I will be shocked by that, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with that one. Yeah, West Ham, I have to admit, for playoffs, it's very interesting. You've got a lot. It's going to be an interesting race, I think, for the thing. You've obviously got with Birmingham City that obviously had a good return to the championship last season. Very consistent. I think they were at one point were challenging for the playoffs, but obviously drifted off near the end. Obviously Sheffield United, obviously now rejuvenated by Chris Warner, if I pronounced that correctly, back for his 3rd stint in the club. So obviously now we can maybe build something. Obviously got Wrexham after disappointing missing out last season. A lot of change there, and see if they can finally push to see if they can, get into the Premier League. That is their ultimate goal. Yes, you've got obviously outside chances. You've got Wolves will be up there as well, but obviously Southampton will be an interesting one. Obviously because the whole controversy with what went down there. So It'll be interesting to see if they can keep it going, or it's going to be a lot of. Don't be surprised they get a lot of boos, a lot of criticism really going there. And yeah, I think another one we've got to talk about is Middlesbrough. Obviously, how hard done by they were. They had 3 shots at the cherry to try and get out of that league last season, and they even was given a chance in the playoffs, but they got done up by in the end, probably decent. Was it whole side? Because I watched that final. Yes, they made some good signings. I think they've definitely dipped into the loan market to get some really quality young players, and hopefully with the possibly with those signings, they're going to push on. So kind of want Middlesbrough, because obviously they've been knocking door for a couple of years now, and it's really it was really turmoil year the way the manager they had left, and then yeah, it was an interesting time. So hopefully the stability hopefully will help them in the end. So hopefully they go up. Yeah, so many big clubs there. But obviously, the big talking point when it comes down below is obviously the one of obviously Lincoln City that went up and shocked everyone League One last season. And obviously, with was it Cardiff out now back as well? Last season, everyone was saying they're going to blitz it, but it was not. It was Lincoln. It was Lincoln City. But obviously, with the record that they've so well. Like, it shocked everyone. It's like, wait, Lincoln City. So it'll be interesting to see how they turn up. Obviously, they're going to be not a lot of big recruitment. They're going to be like a tough team to break down. And I think they do have some restrictions financially, so it's going to be tough for them. But we're rooting for you. I mean, I am, because obviously I like team. Yeah, it's a good story, and you want them to stay in the second tier, because obviously that's for a club like Lincoln. It's like you would want it. I think it's like the first time they're back since 1961, so hopefully they can stay there. Fingers crossed for them. So, but yeah, obviously you got Preston. Obviously you've had a lot of up and downs. Obviously they've been teetering for a little while. A lot of teams go down. It'd be interesting to see what happens. And obviously we've got another one. Obviously, obviously forgot to say with the playoffs. Obviously, you got Millwall. As much as I despise it, they've been up there, and obviously they were disappointed how they went out against Hull. So they'll be hopefully maybe they can finally, finally go the extra mile, and obviously finally get promoted to the Premier League for the first time as in the Premier League. But obviously we've got the West Ham, Millwall back home and away to look forward to. It's going to be fun to watch, but probably not great to be at. So it'll be interesting to see with that. But yeah, Championship's going to be fun. I cannot wait. I'm kind of just looking forward to see if West Ham are really going to do anything really. I mean, if it's theirs to lose, I would say, with the quality they've got. I don't be surprised if the relegation sides are up there again, or really challenging. But I still think 1-2 surprises there. We did have Hull going up last season was a massive shock to a lot of people, with especially with the teams that are in there, especially Middlesbrough probably were the favourites, maybe Millwall, but them going up, even depending what happened with Southampton, still deserved it probably in the end. So yeah, it's really fun. So yeah, Championship's going to be fun this season. But obviously next we talk about League One. Obviously it's one with leagues. Obviously, there's some really big teams down there. Some fallen, sleeping giants like down there. All kinds of stuff. Obviously, the big story coming out of that would be probably Leicester City. Obviously, after getting surprised with the back-to-back relegations last season, obviously going down. First time they've been down there for a long time. I remember when Leicester were down there, so it's not unusual. But yeah, it's going to be fascinating. They made some really good, quality signings, I think. They're going to definitely, they've obviously under the tutelage of Russell Martin, obviously done well with Southampton. We don't really talk about Rangers, really. That was really just a bad move all around. Bought some experience in the league. Obviously, they've still got Harry Winks, remember, how amazing he was at Tottenham, but it just hasn't really worked out for him. So with that level, he should be good. So all kinds of stuff there. Obviously, the big. Obviously, you've got stuff like. Obviously, you've got people like Luton Town. Obviously, Jack Wilshere. Obviously, the former was a amazing kind of midfield maestro that we all kind of thought would be our talisman, but just injuries didn't really work out for him. But obviously, he's done well since he joined Luton. Obviously, I think they won the Johnston Pay Trophy. I think it used to be called. So that was good for them, and obviously hopefully they can build on that. So don't be surprised if as much we're going for Leicester, don't be surprised if Luton Town will be up there, probably pushing to more automatic promotion next season. Yes, obviously you've got Plymouth Argyle under the tutelage of former Tom Cleverley. Obviously, he done a good job at Watford when he was there in Championship, and he was really harshly sacked. So hopefully, he got that quality and kind of very interesting, fluent football. It'll be interesting to see Plymouth can get out of that league and back in Championship after probably 2 or 3 seasons away. I might be wrong. So that'd be interesting. Yeah, obviously. I would say Sheffield Wednesday, but obviously I think they've still got a point deduction, so it's going to be tough. If they can stay up in League One just for this season, I think that'd be great for them. Obviously, a lot of pretty much the kind of the big hitters in that league, really, that I can top my head. Obviously, you got probably going to go down is probably Barnsley. They were lucky last season, maybe. You've obviously got Notts County. I don't know, in League Two, isn't it? Obviously, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's an interesting league because obviously Bolton went up, and that's another big hit. So that'll be interesting to see what they do in Championship. But yeah, I think Leicester's going to be a talking point in this one because obviously for a team that won the Premier League only 10 years ago and then now look where they are now, massive. I'm interested if Sheffield Wednesday can do. There'll be a thing. I think was it Plymouth and Luton Town will be an interesting one. That I can't wait to see. To be fair, because obviously I'm not a fan of Luton, but Plymouth. I mean, Plymouth I have a soft spot really. Even if they did beat us in the FA Cup once, that we do not talk about ever as a Liverpool fan ever. It didn't happen. It was erased. So, but yeah, so it'll be interesting. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens in League One. But obviously, we go into League Two, my league, Crawley Town's league, the league that I'll be very focused on this season because I really want to be like really want to get into it and know what's going on in that league other than just like kind of snippets. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because obviously with was it Bromley kind of going up last season. It shocked a lot of people because obviously there was a certain kind of probably MK Donses and kind of that kind of stuff, and probably Salford probably up there because they've been pushing off a long time to try and get out of that league. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Salford are played favourites here because obviously they've spent big, they've changed their badge, they've changed their colours, they were very poor in that League Two player final, very poor, and they deserve to lose it big time in that one because they didn't play very well. They really were off the pace. But obviously interesting. Obviously they've been trying to get out of that league for so long. So don't surprise if they finally, do it. Obviously got what was it? I think if you're going to be dark horse, play Barnet. Dave kind of got a former Crawley player as well. To striker he's got a really impressive scoring rate, and obviously they've got one. I think they've gotten the best. Was it? Goals return, so like they're good. There was a high scoring, flowing game. You wouldn't think that at Barnet, but they're an interesting side, so definitely keep an eye out on them if you're in League Two. Obviously, you've got all kinds of obviously you've got was it Grimsby will be up there probably. Obviously a lot of that stuff. Well, obviously a lot of like they're probably the big two. Kind of obviously MK Dons obviously finally got out of that league finally after all that time. But yeah, it's an interesting one with that. I think Salford's definitely going to be up there. I think. Yeah, I think obviously the big talking point, obviously as I went and Crawley, so we want to be weird not talking about Crawley. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting season. Obviously a lot of change happened with a lot of new signings. Obviously trying to change the culture at Crawley because obviously with Scott Lindsay going, obviously halfway through the season, there's a lot of mixed and the atmosphere wasn't great at Crawley, but yeah, it's been a good start. Obviously 2 League Cup games. Obviously we were heartbreaking by the Watford one, and defeat, but yeah, some very encouraging performances. So I think for a lot of Crawley fans, as much as we can be optimistic saying we're going to go for the playoffs, I think a lot of Crawley fans would be happy with just having a mid-table season where we're just not looking anywhere near the relegation zone. We would be happy campers there. I don't think any of us are sitting there. A playoff would be great. Maybe all of a sudden we'll turn into a team that wins the league. Very unlikely. I would love it, and I would love to be wrong in that. But I think a lot of Crawley fans, after how traumatic last season was and how it took, we're very lucky to still be in the Football League last season. We're luckily for us that teams around us were just as rubbish, just a little bit more rubbish than we are. It was very lucky. The way we played at times, we should have went down, but we didn't, so we survived. So I think a lot of thinking down at Crawley's probably to try and make sure that we don't have a season like that game. We don't be anywhere near the relegation zone. My kind of ideal season would be mid-table, but looking more up than looking down. I would rather be looking with a little bit of hope that we could get the playoffs like we used to do back in the day. Crawley had a lot of seasons where you had that false hope that he might finally push for the playoffs, but never did. But we never looked like we were going down. One season like that for Crawley would be great for us. I think I would love that, and also just want to play some winning at home. Like I don't think we won a lot of home games last season. I think we only won 2 away. That's terrible. Like, hopefully we can get maybe our home form back, make that a bit of not a fortress, but you're always going to be a tough goal going to the Broadfield. So that'd be helpful. And obviously, be a more of a. I think was it Kevin Richards has put out that it's going to be especially showing the first two games. It's going to be a difficult side to beat. So it's going to be interesting to see that maybe he might not be free flowing, but going to definitely I think have more clean sheets, and especially with Corley's new goalkeeper. I mean, he was absolutely outstanding the first two games. Definitely check him out. He's like 36 or something, but good God, finally has some experience in that behind those sticks, especially with one or two kind of youngsters that probably will be eased in. Probably not surprised if they start seeing them. But yeah, it's interesting with Corley, and mid-table will be great. I would love mid-table. And I'd be a happy camper with that, and I think a lot of Corley fans would. So yeah, obviously this is my kind of a brief overview. It's kind of more of a chat, really. Anything else? Hopefully you've got some enjoyment out of it. I mean, I love talking about. I'm going to try and be a bit more knowledgeable of the Football League this year, because obviously every season I keep telling myself that I'm going to know everything, and then 2 games in, I give up and I don't find time. But hopefully with this podcast and obviously other things, I'm going to try and be a bit more talking about Football League as well as the Premier League and Champions League and all the other stuff. So make sure that you'd like and subscribe there. So yeah, I guess without further ado, yeah, let's wrap this up. I've been Stuart Vine. This is the Football Unplugged podcast. Hope you've enjoyed. And yeah, we'll be back with another podcast next week. So fingers crossed. We'll see what happens with the first weekend of Football League, because I'm kind of really excited to watch it. So it's going to be good. So yeah, please like and subscribe, and see you all soon. So have a good day, everyone, and bye.